Two-thirds of the remaining 40% were organizations that relied almost entirely upon government money. Of the remaining one-third left of that 40%, none were NFIB members or small business. They all were large business. Therefore, they're underpaid.
What's great about this, they just, in Columbus, they just gave the superintendent for the schools a huge raise, like 8%, right? The families in Columbus are getting killed. She gets an 8% raise, $6,000 travel budget, $6,000 car budget, all this stuff. And so they justify it because, well, the superintendent in Cleveland and Cincinnati make more. And I love this. Oh, let's compare them to other inflated salaries and justify it that way, right?
And they don't want to consider step increases, automatic step increases as salary increases.
Oh, that was the best part in Ohio. You know, they froze, the union and the state agreed to freeze salaries this year. So we looked at it, and what do you know? There's this little thing called, it's 37.01, I think, in the collective bargaining agreement called longevity pay. And if you work in year 5 through 20 in the state of Ohio, just for sticking around another year, you get, in year 5, a 2.5% raise. And then it goes up 0.5% every year till year 20, which is a 10% raise. So roughly 46% of state workers got between a 2.5% and a 10% raise this year when there was a pay freeze.
One question, since I used to go to a school called Penn State, were you ever to get the coach, the football coach's salary? No, Penn State could never get, or Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Jim Tressel's actually on the website. He makes $700,000, but that's before he gets all the other stuff he gets.
Okay, we have about 15 minutes for questions. If you come up to the mic and just say your name and who you want to address the question to. Questions? And please visit these 3 websites. No questions?
While we're waiting for questions, the other great thing is I get all these hate emails from state workers and stuff. And what's awesome is they always email me and say, oh, you know, you're just some, capitalist pig and blah, blah, blah. And what they then say is, I know for a fact something makes more. And so then I go to my own website, I look up their salary, I look up their pension, and I say, wow, you're going to get like $58,000 for the rest of your life when you retire. Is that really not enough? And they never respond.
Go ahead. He'll put it on. Go ahead. He's coming with another one.
Is this better? Mine is not a question, and I'm not sure it's going to be very helpful in casting any light on the transparency of budget making, but I did a little something this session that might be worth some of you budget guys considering. I'm Delegate Lacey Putney from Virginia. I'm one of 2 independents. I'm in my 49th year, and I'm chairman now of the Appropriations Committee. Don't know how many of you have defined benefit pensions, but I know some of you do. And as you know, compared to the defined contribution, they are tremendously expensive. I had a bill this year that you may want to check. It was House Bill 1189 that made a lot of changes in retirement. In 1983, in lieu of a pay raise, I see one of my colleagues, Delegate Morgan here, Harvey Morgan. In 1983, in lieu of a pay raise, the Commonwealth decided to pick up the employee contribution, which is 5% by code. By the statute of Virginia, the employee contribution is 5% of gross salary. At the same time that we did it for state employees, we enabled the localities to do the same thing if they chose, to pick up the employee contribution for local employees and for school teachers. I don't know about your states, but in Virginia, a school teacher is not a state employee. They are employees of the local school division. Anyway, in this bill that we enacted this year, we changed a number of things. We got rid of the 36 months and went to 60 months, 5 years, in calculating the average final compensation. We changed to a rule of 90. If the employee has a total of 90, when you add the years of service and age, they can retire with no reduction in benefits. We have a number of other changes that are also down the road going to save a lot of money. We project that we're going to save in excess of $3 billion of state spending over the next 10 years. The bill also gave to the localities, and this is something I think you may want to keep an eye on. We also gave to the localities similar authority. Now, my bill said, starting with July 1, 2010, every state employee shall be, all new hires shall have to pay the 5% employee contribution. That is the law now in Virginia, starting this July 1. We provided the same for localities. And we assumed that the several $100 million of savings to localities would be grasped in a heartbeat by local school divisions and local governing bodies. But let me tell you what happened. As of last week, about 80% of the local governments and school divisions have decided to pick up and pay that 5% for the new hires. And when we get back into session in January, we're going to hear the screaming, the bloody murder screaming, how bad off the localities are. We are hurting, you're cutting us to the bone, and at the same time, they're not taking advantage of this tremendous savings that we included in this bill. I don't know of any part of our budget that is less understood, certainly by the public and by my colleagues in the General Assembly, than legislation dealing with retirement systems. Most of them think that it is so complicated they leave it to a half a dozen of us to try to get it done. But anyway, your locality is going to be coming back, ours are, for more money because they elected not to take advantage of requiring their new hires to pay the 5%. I mention this for whatever it may be worth to those of you who are dealing with the retirement programs and the continuously escalating cost of those. Thank you.